Hi, GEB 3213. I am back to talk with you about your requirements for week 6. So let's just start with the course schedule. I hope that every week you're opening up your course schedule and you're seeing what's due. Actually, there's not much to do other than the big assignments this week. You have a suggested peer review. It is optional. It's something that you can do like you did last week, so I'm not even going to open that file. There is a file online that talks about peer review. It's up under the content section, and I showed it to you last week in the video. So once you get your PowerPoint and your company profile done, you can put it up under the discussion board for this week. There's a discussion that says peer review week 6. You'll find it. And if you submit it by Thursday or Friday, you can expect that you'll probably be able to get feedback from that. And then please remember, if you post yours, please give feedback to 2 other people, and feedback that people can use. Don't be too harsh on people. Just tell them, hey, I don't see any citations here. I don't see any references here. She said you have to use in-text citations and I don't see any. Or, hey, you have a lot of grammar issues. Maybe you want to go see the Writing Center. So something like that's helpful, that would actually help somebody's paper. Okay, and so technically you have 2 things due this week, and I'll show you the guidelines for that in a second, but you have a company profile report, and you've been kind of working in little pieces on this all semester, right? You had to name asked you to start thinking about it in week 2, asked you to name the company, I asked you last week to think about questions you would ask a manager if you were to set up an interview with him or her, and maybe you did talk to somebody, maybe you didn't. But this week, you've got to draft a profile report. It has only got to be 2 to 4 pages. It's not very long because it's double spaced, okay? But what I don't want to see, where people get in trouble, is they give me a bunch of bulleted lists. Bulleted lists by nature are meant to be short snaps of information. They are not meant to be long sentences. And so if you give me bullets that are just like listing the benefits or listing salaries and it's not full sentences, that does not count into your page total. You're not going to get credit for a whole page of bullets, and that's the page 2 of your 2-page document. That means you really only wrote me 1 page and a bunch of bullets. So you would get a significant deduction for a bunch of bullets. So I need 2 to 4 real pages of information. Now that does not include a works cited or sources page that you want to put at the very end. So I need 2 full pages of writing and then your references at the end. Within the document, you're going to actually put in-text citations within the documents, okay? So there are lots and lots of examples on the news page, which I will also show you, that give you good examples of students who did well. Their grammar might not have been perfect, but they set it up well. There were headings on there, so it's easy to see. They're talking about salaries here, and next they're talking about benefits, and next they're talking about company awards, and next they're talking about history, or however they set the report up. If you use a logo, the logo shouldn't take up half your page. Pictures shouldn't take up half your page. You are welcome to put pictures in the profile. You're welcome to put logos. All of that stuff makes it look nice. And even though my guidelines seem really, really long, it is because you are online and you need a more prescriptive overview of what is expected. I want you to be super, super clear on what it takes to make a great grade. In week 3, you compared company profiles, remember? And I told you one was really good, even though it might not have been the best writing in the world. She did a nice job of setting it up. The AIG report set it up nicely. It gave headings. It used in-text citations. It gave a sources page at the end. It was a little bit long, but at least it covered what it had to. The McDonald's report wasn't even 2 full pages. It gave no citations within. I think the one citation that it gave at the very end did not blend into the document. I don't know where they got any of their information in the actual document. So you had a chance to look at some good and a bad profile, and then there are lots of examples for you to look at this week under the news section. So you have to do a company profile report and you have to do a PowerPoint. Both of those are due. Those are the only 2 things due this week, okay? So when you log in this week, you'll see this at the top now. Company profile assigned week 6. These are the reminders, 2 to 4 double-spaced pages of work. I don't want you to go much beyond that. If you have 5, 6, 7, 8 pages of work, then you've done double what I've asked you, and you would get a significant deduction for writing too much. Because in the business world, if your employer tells you to write 2 pages, you've got 2 pages to say whatever it is you need to say. So it's important to be careful to pay attention to directions. I would say that is the majority of point loss on this particular assignment, is just not following the directions. So 2 to 4 double-spaced pages and citing sources. That is where I see the 2 biggest errors, is not giving me enough. You have to have 2 full double-spaced pages, or not giving citations. The PowerPoint, I want about 4 to 6 slides. If you do anything longer than that, don't make it too much longer than that. I can tell whether or not you could develop a decent PowerPoint in 4 to 6 slides. They need to give me some information, but they don't need to be so full and cluttered that it's hard to read. Imagine that this is your audience is sitting in the background in a room, and that you are really going over and presenting this PowerPoint. Since I don't have you in person to present to, my in-person class does present their company profile with their team. You guys are doing this individually, and since you're not really presenting this to me, I do want to at least see that you can develop a PowerPoint and that it's professional enough that it would look good if you were presenting it to a real audience. So here are some examples. Some of these PowerPoints are busier than others, and it will give you a chance to see what you like and what looks better. I will note that PowerPoints look better from a distance in an audience if they are done with dark backgrounds, so like black, blue, purple, green, something like that, dark background with white or light font. If you do a white PowerPoint with black font, it is not going to be as easy for your viewers to see. Okay, so let's look at the actual guidelines this week themselves. So it looks really long, okay, because it also has the suggested rough draft review directions, which we already talked about last week. And it has the grading rubric for this, which basically says it's got to have the correct number of pages. It needs to have 3 of the kinds of information that you are given a choice to talk about, like salaries, benefits, history, awards, education level required, types of jobs available, those kinds of things that you have the choice to do. And it shouldn't have a lot of grammar errors. Okay, so that's all in this document. But basically, the start of this document just tells you, the guidelines for this tell you, you were supposed to review this in week 3. So I'm hoping that you actually did, so that you can see what was expected. So this is just a review for you, right? You have to do a company profile report. It counts significantly into your grade. It's 15%, and the PowerPoint is 5%. So you want to do well on this. It talks about who should be your audience, and essentially that's me and your classmates. And it gives you the things that we're doing through the semester to help keep you on track, which you have already done. Sorry, my mouse is having trouble. And then it gives you the actual guidelines, right? So this is the important stuff. Must means required. Should means recommended. And can means optional. It needs to be 12-point font. I do not care what font you choose. The 12-point preferably. The headings could be 14, but the rest of it should be 12. I don't want 18-point font for you to try to write less. It must be 2 to 4 double-spaced pages. So at least 2, no more than 4, kind of get in, get out. Tell me, essentially by looking at those 2 to 4 pages, I should be able to tell whether or not I would want to work for your company, whether or not you would want to work for your company. You're trying to sell me on this is a great company, or maybe it's not such a great company. Or maybe the salaries aren't fabulous, but the benefits are, and that's why people stay there. So tell me about your company. What do I want to know if I were looking to try to get employed there? You have to discuss 3 of the types of information that were listed above. You do have to cite your sources and use in-text citations. You can use footnotes or endnotes or in-text citations in those little parentheses when you're writing at the end of a fact, a statistic, a piece of data, a date, those kinds of things. You do not know yourself that in 1991 a company was formed, or that it has 4,755 employees. You don't know that stuff. You had to look that up somewhere. So you have to give a citation there at the end of that particular sentence, okay, or paragraph with a lot of data like that. So use a footnote, use an endnote, or use an in-text citation. But you have to use something. You have to cite it, okay? You do need headings because it needs to be easy to read. So I don't think it's requiring too much. Students generally do very well on this if they follow instructions. And then again, the PowerPoint just has to be 4 to 6 slides. It looks better on a dark background. Bullets are wonderful. Just don't make the page too cluttered. And that, again, you should do really well. The great thing about the PowerPoint is you have a chance to get 10 points added to the PowerPoint after next week, after I see that you have submitted all work on time, all semester. Then 10 points can go back to that PowerPoint, which means you can make more than 100. You can have 110 on your PowerPoint, and that can be really significant when that's 5% of your grade. So getting your work on time all semester can be helpful. I hope that the video helps you. If you have questions about the profile, please do reach out to me. And I look forward to some really fabulous company profiles this week and learning about the companies you've chosen. Have a great day.